What up, Marsh Pod? Coming to you Tuesday morning after a special Monday matinee. Rocky Mountain Monsters took down the Indy Stripes by a score of 83-67, one of three games from last night in which Cascadia beat the North, South America beats Middle East. But we're focusing on Rocky Mountain and Indy because I think that has a lot of the stories that we need to kind of come to realize. And the biggest one is Ireland early. Ireland early, 20 points in 23 minutes, 6 of 6 from downtown, and it is, at this point, a absolute oversight, joke, insert word for catastrophe that you have here, that Ireland early is not ranked in the top 100 on any three of 24/7 SimWorld TV or ESPN. He's an unranked player right now, yet he is second in the league in three-pointers made at 10. He's first in the league at three-point percentage at 76.9. And he's shooting 61.5% from the floor, which is not in the top 10, but is notable because he's a guard that does not get himself to high percentage looks. He's making an extremely high percentage of his threes, but he's not getting into the paint into areas that you would typically expect guys to get that field goal percentage up. You don't love the fact that his two-point percentage is a little lower, but Trey Turner's going to get the attention of it, but Ireland early just may be the best three-point shooter in SimWorld Hoops. And he played in a game that featured 8 players that had or currently or previously were ranked. And I can't find an argument that tells me all 8 of those players are considerably better than Ireland early in any way, shape, or form. So, quick rundown of these 8. So, the 8 players, 4 on each team, guys that have either previously been or currently are ranked. And I will hear the case for 2 of them that they deserve to be ranked above Ireland early. So, the first one, Daquan McDougal. 20 minutes, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. An efficient night. He's not a big scorer. He's a rebounder. He does all the little stuff. I'll hear the argument because of his defensive capabilities with the blocks and the rebounds that Daquan McDougal deserves to be ranked higher than Ireland early. He's not currently ranked at all. He's currently ranked only with 24/7 at number 17. But I'll hear the argument. I won't agree with it, but I'll hear the argument. The other 3 players on Rocky Mountain that previously were ranked, and this is not to discredit any of these guys. This is just to say that I can't believe that Ireland early is not currently ranked as it stands today. So the first one, Lucas Banks. 19 minutes, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 3 of 7 shooting with 4 turnovers. I don't think that's a better player than Ireland early. Second player, Maury Washington. 13 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 5 of 8 shooting. It's a good stat line. I don't think that's better than Ireland early. Next player, Kenneth Gaffney, who closed that game exceptionally well for Rocky Mountain. 20 minutes, 12 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 6 of 14 shooting. I don't think that's better than Ireland early. That's not to say that any of those guys aren't good basketball players, but as it stands right now, Ireland early, who's averaging 14.3 points per game, leading Rocky Mountain, deserves to be ranked amongst that team. Let's go to the other side, Indy Stripes. We'll start with the one player that I think deserves or has a legitimate case to being ranked higher than Ireland early. I might hear this one to be true. Benari James, 24 minutes, 28 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 13 to 22 shooting. And we're going to get to Indy Stripes in a second, but I'd say that's a pretty good night. I'm not going to discredit Benari James and say he's not better than Ireland early. Benari James has had inconsistent nights in the 3 games, some good highs and a low night. I don't know that he's all the reason that they're losing, but we'll get to that. But that's a player that I think is on par with Ireland early in terms of deserving to be ranked. The other 3. Jay Luss, 21 minutes, 7 points, 1 rebound, 2 of 3 shooting. It's not better than Ireland early. Kirby Ordway, 22 minutes, 9 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 4 of 9 shooting. That's not better than Ireland early. Last player, Reza Red, 14 minutes, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. It's not better than Ireland early. The fact that this guy is not ranked on any of these 3 platforms, and the fact that Reza Red is still number 10 at 24/7 baffles me. Not because any of those 8 guys that I previously mentioned aren't good basketball players or aren't reasonably deserving of being ranked on any of the 3 platforms, but the fact that Ireland early is not is completely wrong. Let's flip to the other side. Indy, they're 0-3. And actually, before I do that, really quick on Rocky Mountain. This is a legitimate team, okay? If in case you didn't know that, they're 3-0 in the Frontier Division. That's number 1 in the division. High ranked in the power rankings, but that's kind of up to debate. But here's what's not up for debate. Rocky Mountain is one of 6 teams to have the following: 4+ players averaging 10 or more points. At the same time, they have 6 players averaging 9 or more points. No other team has 6 or more players averaging 9 or more points. Meanwhile, 5 other teams have at least 5 players either averaging 9 or more points, or at least 4 players averaging 10 or more. Those teams are the Bad Boys Basketball. They have 5 players that are averaging 10 or more points. Obviously, that means 5 more averaging 9 or more because they don't have anything else. Bad Boys is 2-1. Bay Area, 4 players that average 10 or more points. They're 2-1. Beats of the East, 4 players that average 10 or more, 5 players that average 9 or more. They're 3-1. Cascadia, 4 players that average 10 or more points. They're 2-2. That's the worst record of these 6 teams. And then the H-Town Hoopers, 3 players averaging 10 or more, 5 players averaging 9 or more. They're 3-0. Rocky Mountain is in very elite company at this point with how deep this team is and how many different ways they can hit you. It's not just Ireland early. It's Kenneth Gaffney. It's Daquan McDougal. It's Justin Bell. It's Maury Washington. It's guys that we've seen and we saw last night get to their spots and hit with consistency. They had, if you look at the box score, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players taking 6 or more shots, and they ended up as a team shooting 53% of the game, 52% from downtown. They went up against Indy, who had 4 players that took 7 or more, so 6 or more shots. They are able to so efficiently spread the ball and get so many people involved that you cannot find a singular person to say, if we shut off that valve, this game's over. Indy kind of faces that conundrum. If you can shut off a couple valves, the water just flows through Benari James, and that's it. That is not an option with Rocky Mountain. They have so many different pieces that can efficiently beat you in so many different ways. They're going to be a tough out. Okay, moving to Indy. Some rhetoric last night that Benari James needs to do a better job getting teammates involved. This isn't a Benari James issue, okay? Benari James has been really good, okay? Benari James has been really, really good. And we'll do the great radio thing and pull up his stats or his game log here. Okay, so through 3 games, Benari James is averaging 21.7 points. He had 25 against Heartland, 12 against Beyond the Arch, and then 28 last night against Rocky Mountain. Shots, 21 in the first game, 13, and then 22. 4 assists, 2 assists, 3 assists. He's averaging 3 assists a game. This is not a Benari James issue, okay? Benari James is a very good basketball player. He's a very, very good scorer, and he's a very good, truthfully, player at getting others involved. He's not the best assist man. He's not the best playmaker, but he's not bad at it. The problem is that the Indy Stripes have 2 players that they are casually leaving on their bench and then not making up for it with big minutes in the rotation. The first one is Reza Red, 14 minutes last night, 2 points. As you look at his game log, 2 points in the first game against Heartland, 8 points off the bench against Beyond the Arch, where they actually tried to get him involved, and then 2 points against Rocky Mountain. But you still need to get more minutes than that. Second player, Johan Nowajovic. An efficient 15 points against Heartland, an 11-point game against Beyond the Arch, an 8-point game against Rocky Mountain. The truth is, it's not his scoring that's a concern. It's his minutes. So in the last 3 games, we're going to go from the start when they fall to Heartland Zombies. In that game, Johan has 14 minutes, 15 points. In the game against Beyond the Arch, 12 minutes, 11 points. 10 of those 12 minutes came in the first half. And then against Rocky Mountain, he has 13 minutes and 8 points. They simply aren't playing those two guys enough, and that's the biggest reason, in my opinion, why this team is struggling. They have two guys that, at the very least, if they're not in the starting lineup, they need to be bigger parts of this rotation. And because they're not, that's putting an exorbitant amount of pressure on Benari James to be the lone scorer and creator for this team. He's proven that he's good enough to do that. And I will understand if somebody wants to turn around and say, well, this guy's taking 20-plus shots a game. Some of them are efficient. Some of them aren't. I get that. It's a jarring number to see a guy take as many shots as Benari James does. But to that point, it's not as if Benari James is sitting here being an inefficient scorer. He's shooting 51% from the floor and 55% from deep. He's a highly efficient scorer through 3 games. But the problem is that there's nobody else on this team that has proven that they're capable of either carrying the load or being given enough minutes to actually do that. Johan Nowajovic is averaging 13. Reza Red is averaging 13.7 minutes per game. Those need to be in the 18 to 20 minute range, even if they're coming off the bench. These are 32-minute games. There's no reason that either of those guys shouldn't be clocking in 22 minutes a game, which is just at what Benari James is doing right now. So the sky may be close to falling in Indianapolis right now, in Indiana, but it's not falling because Benari James can't get it done. It's falling because this team has not been put in a situation with the players on the court that matter and that can make a difference consistently enough. Meanwhile, Rocky Mountain is as high as the mountains in Colorado, man. That team is disgusting. That team is deep. That team is a legitimate contender. We'll see you Thursday.